flickered on your tired face. Platform shadows covered half your name. Your suitcase leaning by the yellow line, like you already left my life behind. People rushing through the falling rain, but time slowed down inside my chest again. One more announcement through the dark, one more silence breaking us apart. You said maybe this is how it has to be, but your shaking hands were holding on to me. At the train station that felt like goodbye, your eyes were somewhere between leaving and crying. Red tail lights disappearing through the night, and I stood frozen under flickering white lights. The city kept moving outside, but my heart stayed there that night. At the train station that felt like goodbye. Your perfume stayed inside my coat like unfinished words we never spoke. The last train echoed down the tracks, and suddenly there was no turning back. Cold wind dancing through the empty seats, your footsteps fading slowly out of reach, and every stranger passing by felt like another version of goodbye. You smiled like you were trying not to break, but even silence knew this love was slipping away. At the train station that felt like goodbye, your shadow vanished with the midnight skyline. Red signal lights dissolving in the rain, and I kept hearing your voice inside my name. The world kept moving outside, but my heart missed that last ride. At the train station that felt like goodbye. Maybe somewhere past the city lights, you still replay this night sometimes. Maybe every passing train still sounds a little like my name. At the train station that felt like goodbye. Two lonely hearts pretending we were alright. Last train fading into endless night, while memories stay beneath fluorescent lights. The city finally slept outside, but I still live in that goodbye. At the train station that felt like goodbye. Last train smoking through the midnight rain, your reflection shaking on the window frame. Cold blue lights across your tired eyes, like we both already knew goodbye. Your fingers wrapped around a paper cup, but neither one of us could say enough. And every station passing in the dark felt closer to us falling apart. You looked away when I reached for your hand, like silence finally said what we couldn't understand. On the last train home, what's left of me. Speak it called the final stop again, but neither one of us knew how this ends. Outside the glass, the whole world blurred away, while love disappeared between the rails. You forced a smile, but your eyes could barely stay. And somewhere in that silence, we both slipped away. On the last train home, where we fell apart, two lonely strangers underneath the sparks. Street lights flickering through the tired night, while your tears disappear beneath fluorescent white. And every mile tore another piece of my heart. On the last train home, where we fell apart. Maybe every train still sounds the same. Maybe midnight still repeats your name. Maybe somewhere past the city line, you still replay this night sometimes. On the last train home, where we fell apart, still hearing echoes underneath the dark. Red signal lights fading into the rain, while your memory keeps riding every train. And though the city moved on after dark, part of me stayed inside that car. On the last train home, where we fell apart. Rainwater running down the station glass. Midnight shadows moving way too fast. Your suitcase waiting near the broken line, like you already left this heart behind. Old speakers echo through the empty space. Cold white lights falling across your face. And every second standing in the dark felt like another crack inside my heart. You whispered softly, maybe we need to let go. But your trembling hands still held me close. The train platform never healed, where silent tears became too real. Last train headlights cutting through the rain, while your goodbye still echoes in my veins. And though the city kept moving on, part of me stayed there all alone. The train platform that never healed, that never healed. Coffee stains fading on the empty bench. Cold night air wrapped around our breath. Your perfume floating through the railway breeze, like memories refusing to leave. Passengers disappearing one by one, while our unfinished story came undone. And somewhere underneath fluorescent skies, we watched forever slowly pass us by. You forced a smile, like everything would be okay. But even the station lights could feel us slipping away. At the train platform, leather heeled, two lonely hearts standing perfectly still. Red signal lights dissolving in the storm, while your touch slowly disappeared from my arms. And every train still sounds the same, like midnight calling out your name. At the train platform that never healed. Maybe somewhere on another line, you still replay this night sometimes. Maybe every passing train you hear still carries pieces of us near. The train platform never healed, where goodbye became something permanent and real. Last train fading underneath the rain, but your memory never really went away. And though the whole world moved along, my heart still waits there after dawn. At the train platform that never healed. Streetlights faded underneath the rain. First cold sunrise wading through the gray. Your coffee sitting empty by the door, like you already weren't here anymore. Silent station breathing through the dark. Morning trains preparing for their start. And every second next to you that night felt like holding on to dying light. You wouldn't look at me when I said your name, like goodbye had already taken you away. You left before the morning train, before the sunlight touched the rain, before the city woke and called our names. You disappeared without a trace. And now every station feels the same. Cold empty platforms filled with pain. Since you left before the morning train. Your jacket missing from the wooden chair. Still feel strange breathing empty air. The hallway echoes louder now at night, like your footsteps never really left my mind. Outside the rails were humming soft and low, like they already knew you let me go. And somewhere in the pale blue morning sky, we watched the last piece of us die. You forced a smile like everything was fine, but your quiet eyes were saying one last goodbye. You left before the morning train, before the dawn could ease the pain, before the world outside began to move. You vanished with the fading moon. And every path remind you of goodbye. You left before the morning train, but part of you still somehow stays inside these empty rooms and midnight thoughts, inside the silence that you lost. And though the city moved ahead again, my heart still waits beside the rails where you left before the morning train. I couldn't forget midnight rain against the window glass, neon reflections drifting slowly past, your shadow sleeping softly by my side, while city lights dissolved into the night. The old bus hummed beneath fluorescent glow, like it already knew you'd let me go. And every quiet mile we drove that night felt closer to the end of you and I. You leaned your head against the freezing pain, like you were trying not to feel the pain. On the midnight bus, I couldn't forget your perfume mixing with cigarette smoke and rain, street lights flickering across your tired eyes, while goodbyes slowly hid between the lines. And though the whole city moved ahead, part of me still rides that bus instead. The midnight bus, I couldn't forget. Empty seats and tired hearts after dark, old radio static whispering through the car. Your fingertips were cold against my skin, like you already knew this was the end. Outside the highways disappear in blue, but every road still somehow led to you. And every passing signal in the rain still sounds a little like your name. You try to smile like everything was okay, but silence kept pulling us away. On couldn't forget. I couldn't forget. Last train shaking underneath the rain. Empty stations calling out your name. Cold blue lights reflected in your eyes, like we both already knew goodbye. Your fingers tracing circles on the glass, watching lonely city shadows pass, and every mile disappearing in the dark felt like another tear inside my heart. You stayed quiet while the whole world moved outside, like silence was the only thing still holding us tonight. On the last train home after midnight, we watched our love disappear with the skyline. Red signal lights fading into the storm, while your memory stayed warm against my arms. And though the city kept racing ahead, part of me still rides that train instead. The last train home after midnight. Old announcements echo through the car like broken promises traveling too far. Your perfume floating softly through the cold, like something beautiful already growing old. The windows tremble with the passing rails, a quiet heartbreak hid inside ourselves. And somewhere underneath fluorescent skies, we slowly watch forever say goodbye. You forced a smile, like everything would heal with time, but your trembling hands couldn't hide goodbye. On the last train home after midnight, two lonely hearts fading into white lights. Street lights drowning softly in the rain, while your voice kept echoing through my veins. And though the whole world moved along, my heart still rides that train along. The last train home after midnight. Maybe somewhere past the city line, you still replay this night sometimes. Maybe every train that passes by still sounds a little like goodbye. On the last train home, on the last train home after midnight, still hearing your whisper in the silent night. Tail lights fading underneath the rain, but your memory never really went away. And though the city woke again by dawn, part of me keeps traveling on inside the last train home after midnight. after midnight. Broken station underneath the rain. Old train tracks whispering your name. Flickering lights above the empty floor. Like this place remembers us before. Your cigarette burned beside the gate, while midnight slowly turned to late. And every cold announcement through the dark sounded like another shattered heart. You looked exhausted, like love had worn you down, and silence echoed louder than the trains around. At the broken train station and sleepless nights, we watched our shadows disappear beneath the lights. Cold blue memories running through the rain, while goodbye kept circling through my brain. And though the whole city slept outside, my heart stayed awake all night at the broken train station and sleepless nights. Last train fading slowly out of view, like every dream I built around you. Your perfume floating softly through the cold, like memories refusing to grow old. Empty benches underneath white haze, still trapped inside those endless days. And every lonely footstep after dark still leaves an echo in my heart. You forced a smile, like nothing hurt inside, but your trembling eyes couldn't hide goodbye. At the broken train station and sleepless nights, two lonely souls drifting past midnight. Street lights shaking softly in the storm, while your memory stayed warm against my arms. And though the sunrise came with light, I still couldn't sleep that night at the broken train station and sleepless nights. Maybe somewhere on another train you still replay our last embrace. Maybe every sleepless night you face still carries pieces of this place. At the broken train station and sleepless nights, still hearing your voice beneath neon lights. Old railway echoes drowning in the rain, while part of me keeps calling out your name. And though the world moved on with time, my heart still waits there every night at the broken train station and sleepless nights. Cold wind drifting through the feels like you never left at all. Last train echoes fading through the rain, but every sound still whispers out your name. And every stranger walking past tonight feels like your shadow disappearing from my life. You held my hand like you didn't want to go, but silence already knew what we couldn't say anymore. The train platform feels colder without you. Midnight city lights don't shine like they used to. Red signal lights dissolving through the storm. Our memories still stay warm inside my arms. And though the whole world moves ahead tonight, part of me still waits beneath those lights, where the train platform feels colder without you. Coffee cups abandoned near the rails, old announcements drifting pale and frail. Your perfume floating softly through the air, like pieces of you still waiting there. The empty tracks stretch endlessly ahead, like all the words we never fully said. And every passing train after dark still tears another hole inside my heart. You forced a smile like everything would heal someday, but even the station lights could feel you slipping away. The train platform feels colder without you. Two lonely hearts lost beneath the moon. Street lights trembling softly in the rain, while goodbye keeps echoing through my veins. And though the sunrise slowly fills the sky, my heart still waits there every night, where the train platform feels colder without you. Maybe somewhere on another line you still replay this night sometimes. Maybe every train that passes through still reminds you of me too. The train platform feels colder without you. Still hearing your voice beneath the blue. Last train headlights fading through the rain, but your memory never really went away. And though the whole city moves along, part of me still holds on, where the train platform feels colder without you. Quiet tears. Midnight subway underneath the rain. Silver lights rushing through the empty lanes, your reflection shaking on the closing doors, like you already weren't mine anymore. Old train humming through the underground, while tired strangers never make a sound, and every tunnel disappearing into black felt like there was no way to get us back. You stayed quiet with your eyes against the floor, like your heart had already walked out that door. Inside the midnight subway, in quiet tears, we watched our love disappear between the years. Cold white station lights flickering overhead, while goodbye kept spinning circles in my head. And though the whole city moved outside, part of me stayed on that ride inside the midnight subway, and quiet tears. Coffee stains and broken neon signs blurred together underneath fluorescent light. Your perfume floating softly through the car, like a memory traveling too far. The speaker called another stop again, but neither one of us knew where this ends. And every passing shadow in the glass looked like a version of our fading past. You're forced to smile, like everything would heal with time, but silence already knew you were saying goodbye. Inside the midnight subway, in quiet tears, two lonely hearts drowning in disappearing years. Street lights trembling through the tunnel rain, while your voice kept echoing through my veins. And though the sunrise waits outside, my heart still writes that line tonight. Inside the midnight subway, and quiet tears. Maybe somewhere on another train, you still replay our last embrace. Maybe every tunnel rushing by still sounds a little like goodbye. Inside the midnight subway, in quiet tears, still feeling your shadow beside me here. Last train fading underneath the storm, but your memory still somehow feels warm. And though the city wakes again by dawn, part of me keeps traveling on inside the midnight subway, and quiet tears. Quiet tears. Streetlights fading into pale gold skies, morning slowly waking tired eyes. Your shadow dancing softly through the room, like midnight still refusing to leave too soon. The radio played low beside the bed, while unfinished words still filled my head. And every quiet second after dark felt like the last beat of a broken heart. You stayed close like you were scared to go, but sunrise was already waiting by the window. This was the last song before sunrise, before goodbye disappeared into daylight. Soft city colors washing through the rain, while your voice kept echoing through my veins. And though the whole world woke outside, part of me stayed there that night, inside the last song before sunrise. Cold coffee sitting near the stereo, your perfume lingering soft and low. The soaked with early morning air, like memories still floating everywhere. And somewhere underneath the fading moon, we both knew morning came too soon, but neither one of us could find a way to stop the light from pulling us away. You forced a smile like everything would heal in time, but your trembling eyes still carry goodbye. This was the last song before sunrise, two lonely hearts fading with the night, pink blue skies reflecting in your tears, while silence slowly filled the atmosphere. And though the city moved ahead, your memory still lives inside my head, inside the last song before sunrise. Maybe every early morning light still reminds you of this night. Maybe somewhere when songs play low, you still remember letting go. This was the last song before sunrise, still hearing your whisper in the quiet light. Golden morning breaking through the rain, but your memory never fades away. And though the night is finally gone, part of me still holds on to the last